Alright, episode 2, guys. Jetski John boat build. This one's still waiting. We're getting this one. We found out the motor potentially has bad crank seals. This means it's pretty much junk because can't replace the inner crank seals, but we took it off of this hull so we can cut this one down, same as that one's gonna be, but cut this one down to get basically a mock-up for the boat.
BRG, yeah.
Make it a little bit easier to put in and out of the boat than moving the entire thing. So we're gonna cut this now with this dusty ass thing and get it going. So we got her cut down. This is basically the final. This is the flat spot on the hull that we're going to use the bolt to. We had to cut around the motor mounts because they're above it. And around, this is the water box mount. We're keeping it simple. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. So we can use the water box mount. Because it's a nice, it'll look nice. It all actually fits the exhaust too. So instead of us building one, we already got one. We're going to have to probably re-fiberglass this on an angle, just because this is actually where the motor sits, and we want to strengthen this upper part to here.
Trim it back and then glass it in.
Yeah, because right now these aren't boxed like they were. This is like basically the hull's 2 layers with the foam. Right now it's just open, so we're gonna reclose it. But now we have something to test fit into the boat, and it's gonna be the exact same as that one when it's done. So here you can actually see, this is the flat spot. This is the ridge basically. This is flat. So this is actually going to be inside the boat. This angled part down is going to be in the water.
Aluminum like that.
Yep. Just like that. And then this, we're going to have to...
We'll feather these two.
We're going to somehow make the boat and this have a ramp, whether we fiberglass a ramp or cut this back or...
Make it flow.
Yeah, somehow that's going to be smooth. Otherwise, like he was saying earlier, the water's actually going to cavitate around there because it's going to cause turbulence. And if these pumps suck air, the jet skis go nowhere. So we don't want that. But now we can actually start putting this in the boat and see what we got to work with.
All right, so this is the boat we got for our build. 12-foot aluminum craft. We're going to start by taking this back seat out, make room for the engine to sit in here, and then strip down the back side of this transom to nothing but the metal, and then we'll decide how many ribs we got to cut into to get that engine bed in here. This is our piece for the engine bed, with, as Jake said the other day, the pump area is right here. Then the engine sits right in this location. We removed everything on this one just to make it easier to handle and lift up and put into the boat. And the next one you'll see, she'll have a hole in her.
Alright, we got the boat. Well, my dad got the boat cut out. I've been sick the past few days, so he was out here chopping up our ship. We got a little hole now. Basically, we want to retain this, so we had to do some final trimming, but we had some issues with the way we wanted to attach this. We wanted to bolt this in and actually keep a little bit of this tunnel, just to kind of cover up this. It kind of gave it a neat look, but we couldn't because this thing is just molded to not be a very finished piece. This is wider than this, and this is just
very irregular.
Yeah, this is where my dad actually ground it all down to try and make it smooth. Still not even close. So this we can make supports for the ride plate. We're actually going to make this flush with the transom and most likely make a plate either sandwich and tie into the transom or just screw in here. But we're actually pretty close to the final cut of the boat. We could have cleaned it up a little bit better, but we didn't know about that at the time, so this is slightly larger. So this is the basic idea. This is actually going to get chopped back to about here so we can retain the ridge. And then this is going to come back a little bit more. This is pretty much going to be, you know, flush.
Almost flush.
This is slightly wider because, like I said, that original tunnel piece that we were using was just too wide. So, and this is all going to stay. Basically, the back of the boat is going to have that big ass nozzle hanging out. For now, we got to trim up this front, get all this cut back to the final length, and then get this to drop down. And I think the width has to be cut still, right, Dad?
Yes, the hole in the boat has to be wider.
You went a little bit safe on it because you don't want to cut the thing.
Undercut it the first one.
Yeah, you don't want to cut it and then this thing is too fucking narrow because then the boat's useless. We literally would have to throw this whole boat out. So we have to open up about a 1/2 inch on each side to fit where we want to bolt it, but we'll get to that next. All right, we got the tunnel completely cut off. The pump's out. That was, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, she was on there. She was corroded pretty good.
See, the studs are all corroded. Got that off though. Got all this. Actually, everything looks good in here except for the pumps. They're actually, like, the nozzles cracked, but no big deal. We can get that welded. This we got cut down, so it's pretty much the final length. There's probably gonna be like maybe an 1/8 inch taken off of here, and this will probably be cut back a little bit too to match. And then this is all final. Only thing we have to do now is pull this out and cut the boat itself. So you can see we notched it a little bit more, basically to get this to where we want. It doesn't match the angle perfect, so we're trying to make it like even in the center, yeah. So the bottom of the plate will flex, but it'll work out. Now all we gotta do is take this out and cut the final hole, and this thing will actually be in where it's gonna be permanently. Because right now, like I said, this is just too narrow. So we got this all cut to shape now, guys, 100%. We finished up cutting the boat. We cut this slightly shorter. As you can see, using the precision instruments and a little bit of percussive maintenance, we got this to line up pretty damn good with this cut. This is actually the final spot of it. We had a little issue with these ears hitting, but we notched them up. And the boat, if you look in here, there's stuff flying. This is actually the hull of the jet ski. It's sitting perfect. Pass you down to my dad here. He'll show you the underside. And the lid we got.
On the underside here, this metal edge here is about 1 inch, 1.25 inches of contact to the ski hull above, and this will get bolted through to tie the two together as one. Then up here in the front, all right, shut off. Oh, it blacked out. Up here in the front, because of the V that's in the ski hull and the flat center of the aluminum boat, we'll build this up either with aluminum to make a nice flow so we don't have a cavitation issue, and it should work out really well. And the keel actually lines up perfect with the hull of the ski.
Alright, so in true elderly abuse fashion, I made my dad go grab us in the rain.
Now I'm soaked.
It'd be alright. But we wanted to see what it would look like in here because it gives you a lot better idea. With just the motor plate in here, the bed, you really don't get the picture. It just looks like some idiot cut a hole in the bottom of the boat and stuck a weird piece of fiberglass in. But pretty much. But this way you really get an idea of what's going to be going on here. And the cool thing is, all this actually fits below the top edges of the hull. This is basically where the exhaust is going to be. That's actually the factory mount. We opted to keep that for simplicity. We do need to notch this cross member, it looks like, but probably not the hull, just because it'll bolt. This is where the magneto is and everything. But otherwise, this thing's actually looking pretty good. We're probably going to put the electronics somewhere in this vicinity. We're limited by this length to keep it simple. We have like the factory box for that too. But this is pretty much where it's going to be. We're probably going to be sitting somewhere in here. We got to kind of get this on the water first to get an idea of the weight. But
in the area of that rib.
Yeah, probably in front of this rib, either, you know, basically the back of the seat on it or a little more, because we got to figure out where the weight's at. Obviously, this is a lot of weight in the back of the boat, none in the front. We're going to put the fuel tank up front to offset that. But if we sit too far back, this boat's never going to get on plane, never going to move. And for those of you guys who don't know about boats and stuff, basically the boat has to come out of the water and level out to be on plane, and that's like where you're going to get the most speed and performance at. And you're basically on top of the water, riding up on the hull and not creating all the drag and running through it. If you have an overloaded boat or the weight's not distributed right, you're going to sit like this in the water and just plow. So you don't want to do that. Of what it's all going to be like, we kind of just threw the pump on so we get an idea, get some pictures. I don't know what it is. It just looks so funny to me with this shallow ass boat with the giant jet drive on it. This is gonna be so sick.